Breaking. Mrs. George Wike, the wife of the former head of service in River State, has made a distressing claim that her husband has been kidnapped and coerced into giving an interview following a press release by Mr. Wike alleging that the suspended governor of River State, Fubara, and Edison Ehe were orchestrators of the Bond Assembly. Hello viewers and welcome to Infogist TV. These alarming accusations and allegations raises serious concerns about the safety and well-being of Mr. Wike. And when Mrs. George Wike was interviewed to know the eligibility of the press release, this is what she had to say in the interview. My husband was not the one who made the press release. He was coerced into making the press release. This is true because my husband is a true friend of the suspended governor of River State, Fubara. On Monday, he was accused of 15 billion naira that has been expended during the suspended governor of River State, Fubara's administration. And he vehemently stated that he doesn't know anything about the 15 billion naira that he's accused of. And when he was forced to sign the papers about the 15 billion naira, he preferred that he would honorably resign, which he did on Monday morning, and he called me to come back home. We were still seated on Friday when Ogiri from Abua called him to come out to come to Abuja so that they can discuss. I couldn't follow him because I told him that this Sunday is Mothering Sunday, but he assured me that he will be back that same day. Now, when he got to Abuja airport, he called me to say that he would keep me posted. That was the last time I heard from him. Not until this evening when I saw on the news that he granted an interview, and I was like, that is not my husband. I had to call him and also send him messages asking him if he was under duress. The messages read, "Daddy, why are you in hostage? Why didn't you talk to me?" These are the messages I sent to him, and he did not reply the messages. He did not respond or call me back or respond to my calls. Please, Nigerians, help me. Please, Nigerians, help me. My husband is in trouble. Now, in a swift reaction on a call monitored by Channels TV between the governor, Fubara, and his wife, the former head of service in River State, the conversations went like this. The governor called and asked her what was going on. All her words to the suspended governor, Fubara, is, "My husband is in trouble, sir. My husband is in trouble. Please help me." He was called by Ogiri from Abua to come to Abuja, and all his phones since then have been switched off. "My husband is in trouble. You guys should help me. You guys should hold Ogiri responsible and tell him to provide my husband." In response, the suspended governor of River State stated that he and the Mr. Wike is a good friend. After all he has done for him, what did he do to him to deserve being betrayed or being accused of such weighty allegations? We should recall that there was a press briefing by Dr. George Wike, the former head of service of River State. My dear people of River State, this is the press release. It is with humility and every sense of responsibility that I stand to address you today as your former head of service. You would recall that I was appointed as the head of service by our suspended governor, Governor Fubara. Let me also use this opportunity to appreciate him for giving me the opportunity to serve as the head of state and head of service. With the loads of misinformation on print and electronic media, I have chosen to put the record straight. I was not sacked, neither was I pressurized to resign. I did it willingly from the depth of my heart. However, as an insider and a key player in this administration, by my position who worked closely with Fubara, it would be unfair for me to keep silent or not to address some key factors that has affected or will affect our state if we continue on this trajectory. I want to use this medium to thank Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for his swift intervention in River State crisis, especially on the state of emergency that was declared and assented to by the National Assembly. You will recall that when the governor was suspended as the head of service, I was the next in command, so I'm not speaking from the outside, I'm speaking as an insider. If not for the intervention of Mr. President of Nigeria, we would have faced the worst economic sabotage and River State would have been up in flames. First, it all started with the River State House of Assembly, where the governor, Fubara, directed his chief of staff, Edison Ehe, to burn down the assembly in a way to avert his impeachment. That evening, Edison was in Government House with two other boys, including the former chairman of Obiakpo Local Government Area 1, Chijoke. I was there with them with a bag of money which was handed over to Edison for that operation, though I did not know the amount inside. I want to tell Rivers people today that the House of Assembly complex in Moscow Road was clearly brought down by Edison Ehe under the instructions of Governor Fubara, now suspended governor. I challenged him to an open confrontation, and I will throw more light on it. A day after that incident, I almost resigned, but I was scared because I know the power of a sitting governor, and he knew that I am aware of the whole plan and that I am discomforted with the unconscionable act and deliberate posture of innocent and men of a ship. Another attempt was also made to destroy the residential quarters of the House of Assembly members, if not for the press conference that was made there by Rivers youth, Rivers elders, and the National Assembly members. That would have been another barbaric demolitions in Rivers State. I came to realize that they actually wanted to demolish the second building because after some weeks, he personally told me that if he knew earlier, he would have gone to pull down their hall before visiting the residential quarters of the assembly, and that he didn't actually know that they had such a beautiful hall where they are using now for their seating. I was shocked, and I also asked myself, how could a man that wants to lead his people be destroying his state's assets and wasting public funds on a needless ego fight? Thirdly, I want to advise some key stakeholders who had condemned the state of emergency made by the president and confirmed by the National Assembly to retract their statement. I also understand that they are only seeing the surface. If the president did not take proactive steps, no one knows who would have been affected by the sinister plans that we're cooking. While I thank Mr. President for the state of emergency that was declared in Rivers State for a period of 6 months, I will plead with him not to give up on Rivers affairs because a lot are going on there with Governor Fubara. One of the factors that got me removed was when Governor Fubara told me that they will use the judge to decide who will become the next president of Nigeria, and I asked him, how will that work? Is it by votes or by what means? He clearly told me that he is the chief security officer of Rivers State and his brother is in charge of Bayelsa State, and all the pipelines are under their care, that at the appropriate time they will tell the boys what to do. And fund was not an issue. That was why when he made that statement in his public function that I will tell the boys what to do at the appropriate time, I knew something was up and perhaps the time was near. He boasted to be the David that will bring down the Goliath of River State, that he has the backing of the creme de la creme in the states. The likes of Dr. Peter Dili and family promised to use their contacts in the judiciary, including some members of their university council, to break new grounds for him. The plan was to start from non-Ijaw speaking areas to destroy oil facilities, to remove attentions from the Ijaw and make it have a state-wide look. The Ogoni, Oyibo are other areas were to be bombed first before the Ijaw zones. This would have brought down the government of the President Tinubu and usher in a new president from the coalition of political parties with the vice president from the Ijaws. The media was to be captured by paying heavily for airtime and restraining the social media influencers and non-social critics in their payrolls. I'm not aware of what this revolution means, but I am doing this to free my conscience and warn those innocent persons that are used to sway public sentiments that there is more than meets the eyes in Rivers matters. Sometimes I sleep over in government house, but I started being uncomfortable when Governor Bala Mohammed and some other stakeholders started nocturnal visits to River State. I recalled after one of such visits, he told me that he would support Bala Mohammed for president or any other northerner. That discussions are ongoing, though I was not bothered about who he supported, but I was more concerned about the quantum of state resources that he released to these visitors at each visit. Let me also draw the attention of Nigerian Labour Congress to call the chairman of their River State chapter to order to avoid politicizing Labour. I am privy to several private meetings between the governor and the Labour leader in the state and the legacies that accompanied each meetings to compromise the Labour Union. More worrisome is several meetings between the governor and his chief of staff and some militant leaders, the details of which meetings I'm not privy to since I was not allowed into the meetings. However, each meetings ended with huge sum of money paid to attendees. I wish to state categorically that Rivers people, and indeed Nigerians, are the beneficiary of the declaration of the state of emergency rules in Rivers State, and not Governor Fubara or Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike. Finally, I wish to call on Mr. President to urge the SO administrators to step up his guards and be very vigilant, because I am aware of the sinister arrangements and dastardly plans to continue to hash their plans if not put in check. This accounts for the organized media condemnations and seeming public outcry against Mr. President and National Assembly. Those who love democracy and humanity will always protect humanity and democracy. Mr. President, you have just protected democracy and humanity in River State. I can now sleep with my conscience clear. Long live the Federal Republic of Nigeria and long live River State. Dr. George Wike, former head of service, River State. In his refuting address, Governor Sim Fubara has this to say: ignore Mr. Wike's false claims. My attention has been drawn to a press briefing by the former head of service, Dr. George Wike aired on China's television on Friday, the 28th of March 2025. Ordinarily, I would not have responded to his claims, but to correct the erroneous impression such allegations may create in the minds of the people and the disaffections it is bound to cause in the state and the country first. On the claim that he was aware of my discussions and plans to support Bala Mohammed's alleged 2027 presidential bid, it is laughable that Dr. Wike would be part of any high-level political meetings as head of service, much more sitting in my alleged night meetings with Bala Mohammed and militants like he claimed, albeit none of such meetings ever held. The truth is that the whole world knew when the Bauchi state governor, as chairman of the People's Democratic Party Governors Forum, visited the state, and there was nothing secret about the visit. It is also ludicrous from Dr. Wike to claim that he was aware of my meetings to encourage attacks on oil pipelines and other national assets in the state, as there was no time I held any meetings with militants or any criminal group to destabilize the state. It is on record that I have been at the forefront preaching peace in the state, even in the face of obvious provocations. The truth is that Dr. Wike has been compromised, and whatever he is saying is only aimed at fulfilling his promise to those who may have paid or coerced him to lie against me. I call on all well-meaning Nigerians and the good people of Rivers State to disregard everything said by Dr. Wike as they are mere desperate attempts to discredit me and my administration and undermine the peace process by Mr. President. Stay tuned.